Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, Smiths in the Black, and usually on Mondays we do the Power Hour coaching. But through the holiday, it's Tuesday, and we're doing it all August. But now that we're into September, Power Hour will be back 1 hour after the close on Mondays. So be sure to join us. If you're new here, every Monday we do it. If you can't make it, you can always email questions in, and then I can answer them. So everybody can hear it and it's recorded. Everything is recorded, right? So you don't have to worry about that. So if you can't make it, you can always put your questions in. So I start with the emails, but if you have questions, you can start typing them in as well. So I got an email about looking to do the 322 dailies, right? And from last week. So let's take a look here at a couple of these. And first one, SYF. SYF. Okay, so here's your 3-2 down, right? And then you had your 2, but it didn't go, right? So if you're jumping the gun on this and saying, okay, well, I got in here and then it gaps down here and pukes on you, yeah, you needed that extra 2, right? So maybe this goes 3, but probably not on the one day, right? So the break here. 50-10 correct, right? Ended up being a 2 down, so it just didn't work. But if it had taken that, yes, you're correct, right? The thing also is the problems with some of this stuff is even if it works, right, you're still going to be an inside month, right? So you want to make sure you're using all the time frames you can, right? That's why you'll hear me often say, if this works, then what, right? So even if this worked, it's still going to be an inside month, right? You're still trying to change that back to green on the month, right? So you're still red on the month. Right now, had it worked, you kind of could have worked that back up into this here. So, yes, you could have taken that. You just got to be aware of that. It's got to stay up there. It cannot come back through that. It's got to keep toing, right, and stay profitable. If we go to 5, and 5, let's see, where's your 3 on here? 213.79. Okay, so you're looking for that. So it got the magnitude. These two became an outside bar of that, right? That's true, right? Before it fell apart, I believe earnings were coming out, so there's another problem, right? It's when they hit it. So it did its magnitude. When it took this out, it was goal to stay above that, right? 216.66, and it closed back in there. Let's see. 216.05. So once it hit that magnitude, you want to stay up there and then go after these guys, right? And then the weekly just fell apart. So you're trying to go after a 3-2 weaker as well. You just didn't have it. So you got trying to go bottom of the try here. That I see, right? And the thing was, it's going to be a tall order to take that out. You really did prefer this to the downside to try and take this out. The 2-2 month to the downside, Rev Strat month to the downside, right? So when you have that outside bar, remember, once you're messing with a 3, it might extend, right? Which it did, the 3-2 down on here. So you really want to make sure that you're looking at all the time frames. Stopped out at the 266 magnitude. Should I not set up? No, that was perfect. Exactly what you should have done. And Ulta. And Ulta, yeesh. All right, Ulta stuck in an inside month for right now, right? So chop shop tight, right? And you had some distance and not being inside weak, right? So last Monday, inside day, 2 down. So the magnitude was to try and take out this, but you didn't have much on it. You most likely were going to stay an inside week. That's a problem, and the month. Another thing you want to be able to do is you'll hear me break things down by sectors. That heightens your probability, simultaneous breaks. So ideally, you want to look at a sector that's doing something altogether, right? And so like in the Strat Attack today, I'm talking about like something like an XHB here, where you have that 2-2 reversal week on it, right? It's still tight on the month, we know that, but then we can look at how much of a concentration there are of 2 downs in the home builders to continue that. And then as more of them break, the probability continues to become higher because because they're selling them across the board, all of them. They're not picking out one specific company, right? So that's something you want to be aware of. No, I'm going emails right now. I'm doing the first. I do the emails, and then I come back into here. Okay. So, just gonna make sure I get them all here. Power hour question. Okay. Okay. You said when things occur matters. Yes. I think this is buy over 100. Let's say it breaks 100 in the first 5 minutes on a Monday, or it breaks 100 in the last 5 minutes on a Friday. Same thing? No. No, because you're going to have exhaustion risk, right, on a Friday afternoon, and three of the four time frames are going to start over on Monday morning, right? So when things definitely occur matters, right? Also, you'll hear that's all we talk about, the flip, a new 60. Yeah, and you'll hear me call off a lot of things and say just hold off for the flip because you got a new 60 coming, and we always want to know what the next two is and how close we are to it, right? So to start off the week in the SPY, you're closer to a 2-2 week to the downside now. Still a tight range, we know that. But then we go to the diamonds and we had a lot more action over there because, as I was just saying, like there was a higher concentration, IBM, Triple M, getting hit over there, right? So that's how you get that nice long red bar. They're hitting industrials, your Honeywells, your mini mines, right? And so that heightens the probability because we know what they're doing. Inside week to the downside, they're hitting industrials. They're hitting Honeywell, Triple M, all that kind of stuff, as well as what I talked about in Stratitech. That's not. I just posted. I haven't tweeted it, but like XLP. What are they doing here? It's like, and they're selling the Kellogg's and they're selling the General Mills, right? They're selling some Pepsi, some Colgate, right? And so when we track stuff like that down, right, it tells us what the big boys are doing, as opposed to trying to figure out what an individual stock is doing. So also, one things occur matters because everything's going to confirm or negate what we know to be true, right? And that's why we say 2-2 on a Tuesday. That's a problem. 2-2 reversal on a Tuesday, and then the second week is going to reconfirm what happened the first week of the month, right? And so we're constantly watching how many twos and failed twos going three do we have, right, in the market or in each sector. That'll tell us what's going on in the market. So that's how we can scan without having to look through millions of charts. We can run scans and we know what's going on, right? Just by running a scan, if we just got last week's lows, you see a bunch of XLP in there and some home builders, right? Does that make sense? Uh, okay, next question. How do you know when a broadening formation is ending and won't go back to the other side? What must you see to expect a breakout from a broadening formation? Do you trade the reversals in a broadening formation back to the other side, or just don't trade broadening formations altogether? Oh, that's what we do, right? And that's why we look at like Coop. How many videos is this in? What's it trading right now? Coop got up to 283. Looks like. I think it was higher though before. So it's right there. How about that? To the tick-tock ticky. So once it starts ripping back through, that's something I'd want to know about. So if it's going to stay out, we're going to mind the continuity. So now it's inside day gapping up, right? And here's your outside month, 322. Now it's going to take that out. Now we want to stay up above this thing, this 283.38 once it gets there. If it stays there, it's still going. It's still good. If it changes continuity and starts coming back through, we can go back the other way. So when things occur matters there too, right? Let's say you have a new month and you have a 2-2 reversal back down on a weekly. Yeah, that would change my mind on what's going on here, right? Because then you'd have full time frame like here. Oh, triangle out, and then boom, right here. See that? Right back through, real hard, right? Boom, through the previous range, and then here, stop them out, and then boom, back up in here, changing this back to green and back into an old 3, right? So if this was like a different part of the month, right, and it was still bright red over here, then you'd still have a problem. But that's not what happened. It flipped into a new month, and then look at this. This is the end of the month. Was the last week of the month? It's that week. So this is the last week of the month to set it up, and then boom, off she went. So that is another one thing. But so we're always watching the broadening formation series, where we are in comparison to everything, right? To the bigger ones. So here, if this works, you might come all the way through here and take all these guys out on the monthly. It's still going, right? If you can get through here and stay up there, you're in good shape, right? Next question. Is upward time frame continuity when the candle is green or when there is a 2 up? Doesn't necessarily have to be a 2 up. No, it's just green, because you can gap down and still be green. And so one of the things what you'll look for is if you have continuity, and let's say on the daily and the weekly, or the weekly and the monthly are green, you can gap down and still have full time frame continuity to the upside. That's what a 3 looks like, right? And we definitely look for that, right? There's another when things occur matters. Let's say you're up Monday and Tuesday, but gap down on Wednesday, but you're not taking out that weekly opening. You start coming back up, you're back at full time frame continuity, right? So it's the aggregation series. It's green because they're taking the offer, right? That's what they're doing. The more aggressive are the buyers by taking the offer, right? Next question. And same question here. Long up, time from continuity. It's not where it's closing, it's where it's trading presently. So it's not close is higher than the open, it's last sale higher than the opening. That means the aggressor are the buyers. And all right, got to keep looking for 280ish. There you go. And the course should be there. If not, go to this bottom right helps button and go email there. Next question. Okay. Some of my trading, I always favor being a fader. Yeah, don't do that. It sometimes gets me in a lot of trouble. Yup. How can I avoid this behavior and mindset? Trade reversals. Make sure you're trading a reversal. And if that reversal works, what will that negate? Right? That's why you can look for a reversal on 2-2 on a Tuesday. Like tomorrow, if you have anything that was 2 down and going 2 up tomorrow, that would get my attention. Anything that was 2 up today going 2 down tomorrow, that gets my attention. Second day of the week. How can I avoid this mindset? Just don't do it. Just time frame continuity. Stick with the continuity. People are always trying to fight things. Also in today's markets, giant rotation happens so quickly into stocks, it's hard to react to catch some great setups. What would be a great way to monitor the rotations of the market? Watch everything I record. And like I just said, look for simultaneous breaks, right? That heightens our probability. We want to see it sector wide, right? That helps a lot, right? As opposed to, here's my 2 best ideas, right? No. Here's the concentration, right? When we run our scans, say, here's the concentration of these. How many of these 2s, that's all I did because I was running out of time for the strat attack. All I did was run the scans for inside and up and inside and down. That's all I had to do. And didn't have time to just go for the weekly, who's taking out the highs, who's taking out the lows, but you can do that. And that'll tell you what's going on because you'll see the concentrations. And if it's really heavy, That's the overall market that's not turning around anytime soon, right? No fading. Fade, nope. Killed. Because when you fade, you have to remember something. When you go with the continuity and you go with the broadening formation, this gives you your magnitude and you've got help. Other people are buying it for you. When you fade, more often than not, all you're doing is trying to profit from other people's profit taking, right? Because it's not really going that direction. It can have some corrective activity, profit taking, but that's all you're going after, right? And so even if it is a full-blown reversal, most likely you're not going to be in for it because you're so used to fading that it pops back up on you. So anytime it starts popping against you, you get out because you have to. Because if you don't, you get killed. So there's no real benefit to it. And Brad, okay, now you guys can start typing if you got some questions, and then I got through the email, quite a few. I think I did, I'll make sure. Looks like it. Ideally we want to have combination of signals, watch the vids. Don't skip any vids. When I make vids, watch them. So I'll point them out before they happen. Like with IBM, we're looking to see if this monthly gets taken out. Here, RevStrat weaker, potentially trigger that out. Off the 222 BAM day. With the industrials getting hit. Dow Jones. So, because I put out a lot of information, and I know during the week the nightly vids brief, but usually on the weekends, I'm pointing a bunch of that stuff out. Where like over the weekend I talked about, potentially the XLE gang, if they could take out the month, which they haven't, but like the first ones that have like COG and XEC and all these kind of things to keep an eye on, and make sure you always have your 4 time frames up. So when you have one signal, you can pull it up and just look at it and be like, if this works, what's it going to do, right? In this case, we're looking for the 322. Could use a little help from the energy sector, which you're not getting right now, but now you get your inside day starting off the week to see if that's going to go 212 and negate, since the XLE is not confirming, or the XOP is not confirming on those. And that's why during the day, oftentimes you'll hear me say per the vid, right? I talked about it. Now it's happening. Get in there. Get, boy. Make sense? Yesin? There's a good thing about the strat, it's very repetitive. And when I go through my research on the weekends, I actually have 8 charts up. Because I want to see this here. You see this? All of this is a 2-month mother bar. This stuff. Can't get out of here. Right? And so you can see, chop them up like good in here. So the question is, could it get out of there? It didn't. Right? And RevStrat month here. So the question is RevStrat month and then continuation. Start puking down through these guys. So I'll have 8 of them up just to see the shorter term setups, but then stuff like that to see if I'm used to be somebody or something like that. Have them pulled out as well. And also being mindful of all the relationships. Who's in what? IBM and Dow, right? So I want to watch the Dow with that, right? No, I will have 2 of each of the monthly, weekly, daily 60s. Just with more bars. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. And that's why you'll notice me going through the sectors and subsectors of what's going on when we do the weekend vid. Like, because we know trannies here still inside month, but we want to know if that breaks. That's something I'd want to know about, right? Because we know already you got CSX, the rails trying to take that 2-2 monther, Union Pac, Norfolk Southern, right? Rail's been trouble. Momentum or continuation. So here you go. Here's your reversal month. 2, 2. That's a reversal, right? Here's a reversal. Rev strat. Inside. Boom. So this was a continuation because this was a 2 up. 2 up. Inside. 2 up. There's your continuation. Hits magnitude by going into the highs. Then here's your 2-2 reversal rev strat puker. Right? Then here's a continuation. 2 up. Inside. 2 up. So another thing that we're always looking for is multiple time frames. So once we break it down, here's your corrective here. 2-2 back up. 2 up, 2 down, 2 up. Right there. All right? These two become an outside bar of all that. And now, still 2 in our way down. I don't think that was inside. That was not inside. It was still a 2 down last month, 2 down again. That's continuation. So we like the reversals because they're backing up to get ahead of steam, right? Doesn't mean the 2-2 continuation can't work. Like here's 2-1-2 reversal here, 2 down inside. Here is your 2 inside continuation because it's 2 down inside down, and almost everything did that. That was fun. SPY monthly, 2-2 reversal, then 2-1-2 continuation, then 2-1-2 reversal. 2-1-2 reversal. So the reversal just means somebody's getting stopped out, trapped out, and it gives you the magnitude built in, right? We take this out, we're going to take that out, right? If you go straight into new highs, don't know. That 3-1-2, boom. And been 2 and ever since. Had a couple close calls here and here. But outside of that, full steam ahead, SPY. Making sense? Cool. And so, like in some environments like this, you know how it's just been grinding forever. I'll call a lot of stuff off because one of the things that can be a caveat of knowing the strat too well is you're catching too many tight triangles and you're not waiting for them to get bigger. Or getting major signals to trigger. And this SPY has just been a grinder. Tried to get your 2-2 weaker here. Nah. Just triangle they out. There we go. Micro try they out. Boom. Short RL. Well, there you go. Monthly 2-2 per the weekend vid. 113.98. You're there. So far, so good. Just want to stay down here. right? Otherwise, she goes 2-2 on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday this week, right back up. Otherwise, stay down, boy. As long as it's below that, I'm good. And LVS with win. And LVS took that as a 2-2, just didn't get going and hasn't changed the continuity on the month just yet. 45.13 would help. Still want to get over that monthly 44.81. Just kind of stuck there. Win was doing much better, and so we'll see. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but that's where you're looking for the combination. So you got win above the hammer. You can also watch the Caesars. Caesars still coming up here on an inside week. A little bit different, but MGM. And it's okay to take the monthly. It's just got to stay out. Like any other signal, it's just got to stay out of there. Sometimes they just come gangbusters. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes we get patient and be like, all right, let's let this thing run a little bit. I want to make sure they're hungry. And that's why when things occur also matters that there too. I like nice long red and green bars. Right? Oftentimes I feel like you got to be the first guy in there. You don't. If it's really going to run, it's going to get nice long and green and red. Like the SPY back last year. This was still an inside bar, but it was bright green and a new quarter. And if that works, what will that create? That'll set up the 2-1-2. What you got? Ah, the VXX. Yes. Here you go. So a lot of the triples and stuff are decaying, right? That's good. Because they have to roll the contracts, right? Because there's no physical VIX product, it's options contracts. So anytime they got to roll those babies, down she goes. Down she goes. Doesn't mean you can't get caught in the spikers. You got to be careful of that, but more often than not, decay, puke. Roll them contracts, boys. Make sense? It's the nature of the beast. Therefore, perpetual puking. How's our buddy UVXY doing? Then they go down in reverse split and re-puke. Then you wait for them to pop up. And so the good thing about the decaying products is, as opposed to like seeing like regular stocks and stuff, you don't have to cover when it goes to the bottom of the triangle. It's going to go through it. It's not the same because it decay. So it's a constant series of lower lows. Boom, right here. Ugh. Puke. So then you don't have to get freaked out by this. Like in a stock, this might freak you out a little bit. And this thing, nah. Boom. 2-2. Hit him again. Prefer combinations of actionable signals that will trigger the rev strat or anything else for that matter than taking it itself. Sure. So IBM monthly here. And here. So if this 2-2 works on the week, it's going to set up coming after that rev strat, right? Because it went to an exhaustion risk and reversed. If that works, right, we're going to start coming after that rev strat here. 143.04, right? Boom. There's where it is. And then it goes inside weak. And then it pops up and goes 1-3 rev strat. weekly to trigger the 122 rev strat monster. If that works, where's my magnitude? It's below triggering this, right? So that's only going to have your magnitude. So if the magnitude on this setup is going to trigger something else. So in a normal situation, in a different type of situation, that might be it. It hits magnitude and that's it, right? But when you have magnitude that triggers something else, right? So your hopes on this rev strategy come down to here on the weekly. Take these guys out, 137.21, and if you do that, that's the low of the inside month. So normally, if you're just looking at this, you might have some exhaustion risk here. But in this case, that causes the inside month to the downside. That would be your hope. Off the rev strat, weaker in the diamonds. But these rev strats are a little tight. So and place stop 1 cent below the low of the bar that breaks the inside bar. Sure, I'm good with that. Go down to the 5 minute if working on 30 or 60 or higher time frames. This is Rev Strats, Momo Hammer Shooters. With working off the daily, weekly, monthly, do we use shorter time frame to keep stops tight and risk low? Yes. Yep. I don't like to mess around. Just go, baby. Just win. Which is also the part about when things occur matters. Over time, we gain more information, right? So we have more information. That's why Strat Attack is usually on Tuesdays, right? We know what they did on Monday. The question is, did they come back and do it again on Tuesday? Or did they reverse that, right? We know what they did the first week of the month. Is the second week going to continue that or reverse that, right? And the third week. And each hour. Is that reconfirming what we know about everything else? And that's why when you have a counter 60 to the daily, weekly, and monthly, Profitakey, we're circling around that one for the new flip. All it's got to do is tick up 1 cent and it's back into full time frame continuity. And that's why you see me during the day rifling through the four all day long. I got a pretty good memory from the weekend vid. But I want to be reminded by pulling up all my time frames and being like, ooh, if that does that, that's going to do that and that. And as always, you can check with me. Because oftentimes you'll hear me either start telling jokes or telling you whose birthday it is instead of talking about the market. I'm trying to keep you out of trouble. Forcing stuff when things are doing nothing. It's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. Other times you'll hear me say, if I didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be here. If you have something to go do it. Let these things move. There you go. Take notes twice, good. Our actionable signals, 2-2s, 2-1-2s, yes. Any reversal, yep. Momo Hammer Shooters, yep. Any two is actionable. It's a matter of how actionable it is combined with everything else. So an actionable signal is any two, or a failed two going three. Yeah, we've just been in expando mode forever. Triangle layout, expando, 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 which is not uncommon. It happens. Get. Sit there, triangle layout, get. Triangle layout, get. Triangle layout, get. So you can see these expando modes happen. Triangle layout, expando. Triangle layout, expando. Uh-oh, triangle layout. Okay, no expando. The good thing is you want to be prepared for when they do triangle layout. They will someday. That's when you can make a heaping. Like last year, it was awesome. One of the best trading years of all time. 2-2 continuation, it is. It's just very aggressive. Don't prefer that. Some people will do that though. Because it's still twoing, right? It's just that you don't have any magnitude because you're walking straight into the new high. And you're risking a 3, so it can't come back in. Like a Momo hammer. Or Momo shoot. Mm-hmm. You've also heard me say this a lot. You don't have to be the master of every setup either. There was a lot of gapping, yeah. Then there was a lot of ripping in here too. Gaps, just like anything else. Because some of the real haymakers was when we came back up. Your W's, 2-2 reversal month ripper, Amazon. Boom. At this point, it's like, is pandemic bad for Amazon? No. No. Boom. Right? Is pandemic bad for W? No. Boom. And so, knowing when and what to go after is part of my job, and that's why a lot of this expando garbage is just, it is what it is. But if you were with me back then, here's what we knew to do. Right? All right. The big haymaker, right, was March, right? The real pummeling after the deuce of a fab. I mean, the trace of a fab. So here, this goes back to when things occur matters, right? This is April, right? That's a new quarter, right? And if you read my article for Steve Burns about picking up on algorithmic activity, what we were doing was buying things here that were still green on the year and the quarter as as everything started to rally back, right? Your Teslers, boom. See ya. All right, Teslers, Shopee, boom. All right, because we also knew here, right? This was March, right, where everything got destroyed. So when we came into April, we're also going out, anybody taking out the March highs. Anybody got short shop, jammed hard, right? That's how we knew to be in shop. Teslers, Wayfair, Amazon, right? Zoom, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the SPY was still bright green, but then everything the next month, then you had the 212, the reversal, all the 212 reversals following through, continuing the rippers. Well, the thing is, it's like you can swing it. Like if you, when those moves are so big, it's like if you got to take like 40, 50, 80 bucks out of Shopee or something, you don't have to cover. Get that acreage going for you. And Moderna, well, Moderna didn't have the vaccine yet. The old Momo hams. Get it. And then you just wait for it, try and get out. 2 up, 2 down, bam, you're in. Off she goes. Momo hams. Get. So Momo hams is your 2-2, but Momo hams got to go. Because the reason this works is because you got these guys who are short in here, but because of continuity, you also got buyers in there. So oftentimes that's why they work. You got guys covering shorts and buyers in there, and it jams them. That's why you also have to be really aware of exhaustion risk of a Momo hammer. That might be it. You might have just blown out all the shorts, and everybody who wants to be long is long, and then it pukes. So I don't send people down that direction. I just point things out, and people pick and choose how they want to trade it. Spotify. So, still have your 2-2 monther. Now, starting off the new week red. Right? You had a 2-2 reversal on the 60 into slight exhaustion risk. That's a problem. Now, I was not quite inside. So you're closer to being a 2-2 reversal on the daily to the downside. So it's not green on the week. It's red. It's positive on the week, but it's red. So it's going to be an outside week to the downside. That's what it would look like. Is that a problem? Potentially, yes. But it hasn't reversed yet. That's still a 2 up. So for the monthly crew, kind of hoping it goes up and goes inside day and then goes 2-1-2. Or stops them out slightly and then comes in on Thursday and goes 2-2 back up in the old face and change this thing back green. Because even though we know all this stuff, sometimes it can still be difficult because there's a lot of 2s. There's a lot of 2-2 reversals. When Dan and Jake were here from TrendSpider and were putting this into their software, and Dan was programming the 2-2 reversal, he's like, that happens a lot. I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's how you get messed with. If it didn't, trading would be simple. You'd never get stopped out. Yeah, Coop. It's coming in a little bit now, but Coop did its job. Do your job. That's why, like I say, when we get a hold of one, she gets stopped out. It's when you don't. Still good. Still good. This butte off the weekly here. Right there. There you go. Give me inside day and up. Uh-oh, potential rev strat. Nope. Get. And the 2-2 reversal off the low. Disney, so be it. No rev strat weaker for you. The good thing is it didn't gap. So you could have gone after the 2-2 reversal day. Boom. As soon as it takes it. Off the 2-2 monther. Still kind of stuck in here though. You can see the 4 months inside of this. Your triangle expando. 2-2 boom. After the 3-3-3 monther. Okay. Anything else we can do for you today? Webinar coming up. It's going to be pretty basic. Speaking to non-stratters, so. Penn Gaming. Been a lot higher in a month. Not quite inside, but you can still get the measured move. Up, corrective activity, and going to the DraftKings. You get coming through all this stuff. Short-term exhaustion risk because you're going into the recent high, but you got the DraftKings inside week and up. After last month's rev strat, still good. Inside day to the upside, if that works, triggers the inside weaker. Coop. Right here. Yep. Right there. Yep. If that works, there you go. 3-1-2 in the month. 3-2-2. On a stock that's no stranger to big tries. Okay. Just a few minutes short of the full hour. It's still a little bit of a holiday market here. Rosh Hashanah. And then next week, Yom Kippur. And then we can get everybody back to business, hopefully, for some good old-fashioned puking. There's another butte. When they go, sometimes they really go. No messing around. UPST. Got it covered? Nah. No, I don't. 130.90, 2-2 monthly reversal trading 260, 270. Yep. All right, I guess we'll cut it here, and I'll go prepare for this webinar and then get ready to go home. Got to write this webinar. I'm just totally off the cuff, but I think I know my stuff. All right, on that note, I'll either see you at the webinar or see you bright and early morning. All right, everybody have a good night.